for joining. Thank you everyone for joining. I think this is our sixth seminar for business owners in Japan. We cover topics like taxes, labor law, marketing, and more. Heiken, you could put in a link to where people can see like a list of seminars that we've done so far in the chat. And cool, yeah. And in today, we're going to talk about in the 2024 new electronic retention tax rule, and we'll have some time for some Q&A as well. And Shinpei, when does this new rule come into? When does it start?
From next January 1st.
So already 1 month. Yeah, it's going to happen in 1 month. So there's some good timing. And in the future too, whenever there's something new coming out, we will do a seminar with Shinpei. Something new happens in Japan.
Anything?
Go ahead.
Okay.
And Shinpei, could you introduce yourself?
Okay. So this is Shinpei Wakana, and I'm a Keio University alumni and have 10 or 11 years experience and offers personalized and friendly support. And I've been working with 1,000 businesses just like yours all across Japan for the last 11 years. And I'm a certified public accountant. I'm an expert in corporate tax and sales tax especially, and specializes in tax audits for small and medium-sized companies. And of course, we can use Slack, Chatworks, Xero, and QuickBooks or Zoho Books, anything like that. And I'll be happy to help you today. Thank you for attending today.
Cool. As for myself, I've founded 2 successful companies in Japan. And I'm coaching around 28 entrepreneurs now on how to scale their sales, marketing, recruitment, and manage their teams and leaders to grow their business in Japan. I'm also a 2-time resident mentor for the 500 Global Accelerator. 500 Global is probably a top 3 startup accelerator in the world, and I've done their program as the highest level of mentor for 2 years in a row, and just finished something with the Korean Institute of Startup and Entrepreneurship for entering the Japan market. But if you would really like to scale your business, I can provide a wide range of views from digital marketing, sales, but also on maybe the products to issue, or the team needs to, you might need to improve management leadership for the team. And I've had a lot of success with that. Also, we do have a lot of content, the Skin Japan podcast. We have a Japan investor list, people who have invested in foreign companies, free seminars like this, and articles and more. And let's dive right into it. So the new electronic retention tax rule. And luckily for those of you who joined our previous seminar on, I think the new invoice system, this one is much more simple.
Yeah.
That one was really complicated, but this one is much more simple. And yeah, I think this is fine. But we'll answer a lot of your questions.
Yeah.
So Shinpei, so what are the new tax rules for electronic retention? Please give us an introduction.
Okay, well, let's get started. Today, I'm going to talk about the new rules starting from next January. It's called the electronic retention rule. Simply put, today's topic is how to keep a document. That's it. But it was supposed to start in 2022, but there was a lot of criticisms. The rules were vague and complicated at the time, so it was extended by 2 years. It's a little confusing, though. You may think that the new invoice system had just started 2 months ago, but something gonna start again. What's next? But it is not that complicated. I'm gonna tell you one by one. And also, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. And in the Q&A, we will cover more generic questions that would apply to most people. For more specific questions, we can exchange email and follow you up later. Okay, so I'd like to go to today's topics. Number one, introduction to the new tax rules for electronic retention in Japan. Okay, so let's start with an overview. Firstly, I have to tell you that unlike the new invoice system, the system doesn't affect your taxes at all. You don't need to register either. It is just a rule for how to keep the documents electronically. And also the same rules apply to both sole proprietors, kojinjigyo, and corporations, hojin. The rules are the same whether you are a kojinjigyo or a corporation. There's no difference. And yeah, when you run a business, there's so many documents, receipt, bank books, credit card statements, invoices, and so on. And for now, you need to keep documents on paper for 7 years at least. That's a huge number when you've been doing business for years. And also, when you have a tax audit, the tax office requires you to submit documents on paper. So if you have data by PDF, CSV, Google Drive, something like that, they require you to print it out. And it's a pain, mendokusai things, but starting next January, if you meet the requirements, you will be able to keep documents electronically and you can discard paper documents. And as a side note, you can still keep them on paper as before. So if you don't care for electronic way, it's almost the same as before. Okay, this is an overview of the new tax rules. So, okay, let's go on to the key features. The next sentence is key features of the new tax rules. Basically, there are 3 categories of transactions. These categories are important. The 3 categories are ledgers, physical documents, and electronic transactions. Previously, we had to print everything out on paper and submit it for tax audits, but this way, you can keep them in electronic ways. Okay, so let's see 3 transactions. Number 1, ledgers. And ledgers means electronic ledgers mean journal entries, general ledgers, and financial statements made by accounting software. And since it is optional, you can choose whether you keep ledgers in data or paper. Either is fine. And number 2, physical documents. It is also optional. You can choose whether you keep documents in data or paper. And physical document means invoices and receipts that you received and sent on paper. Yeah, and number 3, electronic transactions. It means invoices and receipt that you receive and sent in PDF, email, or any other electronic way. But please note that only this is mandatory. What is different now is that this data can no longer be printed on paper and kept. So I'll talk about these 3 more specifically after this. So just keep them in your mind. This is an introduction to the new tax rules. Okay. Okay, let's go on to the next topic. Next is impact of the new tax rules. In this session, I will talk about applicable entities, applicable transactions, main changes, and penalties. It means who changes for what happens if you don't follow. Okay, let's see the first topic. Number 1, who changes for what? Applicable entities. Yeah, who is impact? And applicable entities are all business entities, both sole proprietors and corporations. And applicable transactions are, as I mentioned before, number 1, ledgers, number 2, physical documents, and number 3, electronic transactions. And let's talk about main changes from January 2024. Yeah. Firstly, please note that 1, ledger, and 2, physical documents are optional. As I mentioned before, you can choose which one you keep on paper or electronic way. But only 3 is required. It's mandatory. It means you have to keep electronically. So let's see one by one. Number 1, ledgers. Sorry. Could you show number 1? Okay, ledgers. Talking about ledgers, I believe your accountant delivers them to you every year for financial statements or general ledgers, and it accumulates every year. But from next January, you don't need to keep them on paper. It means this doesn't need to be taken into much consideration as the accountant will handle this. Okay, and number 2, physical documents. Sorry. Okay, thank you. Physical documents. Receipts can be photographed or scanned and saved, it means. And there's a requirement, but as they can be tampered with, it means not falsified. Yeah. And as I mentioned before, you can keep them either way, physical or PDF or something. Okay. And number 3, electronic transactions. Well, this is the biggest change. Documents received in data must be kept as data and cannot be printed and kept on paper. And it also needs to be kept in a way that it cannot be tampered with. It means data can be falsified. So I'm not sure how to falsify data, but I guess experts can do it. So if you receive invoices and data, let's consider implementing a system so that corrections cannot be made. So, I mean, if they come electronically, just save them as they are. Printing and saving these is not allowed. Okay. So let's go on to the penalties. So then what happens if you don't follow through? Well, actually, there's no major penalty so far, but there are only 2 risks. So I will introduce them just in case. Number 1, cancellation of blue tax return, aoiro shinkoku in Japanese. And although highly unlikely, there is a risk that the blue return will be revoked, canceled, but it is really low, 1 in 10,000 or something like that. And for individuals, you can't use 650,000 yen deductions, and deficits and profits cannot be offset for the previous 3 years. And for corporations, you can't offset your profits and deficits for the previous 10 years. It's a bit risk, but I believe it's not going to happen. And number 2, falsification of data. Thank you. And there is a fine of up to 1 million yen for falsifying electronic data. But this is not relevant to you since this is just illegal thing in the first place. Okay. This is a number 2 main changes. Okay.
And does anyone have any questions so far? Feel free to put them in the chat. Or if there's something that you would like to confirm that was said, just to make sure your understanding is there. I'll give it 10 more seconds. So there's one question. I think it's
thank you.
I think Michelle asked, like, electronically received documents as in monthly PDF invoices from Google Workspace.
Yeah, it will be fine. So I'll talk to you later, but there's some system for free but so far
Sorry, her
there's a
question is does the PDF count
yeah
as electronically received?
yeah
Cool.
PDF or CSV.
Cool. Yeah. PDFs, CSV.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's actually Gareth asks, so what exactly constitute electronic data? So he has an invoice.
Yeah.
I understand the situation.
Mm,
He has an invoice, it's on a website,
yeah.
and I can't save it. So but hey, or sorry, Chimpe, if it's a PDF, it's okay, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Gareth, one possibility is I'm not sure how to do it on a Mac, but on a PC, you can actually save a website as a PDF. So I think you click Control P, like you try to print, and you
Mm.
select download as a PDF.
I see.
So
Yeah.
that's how you do it for websites where they don't give you an option to save as a PDF, but within Windows. Yes. All right.
Ah,
Yeah. So yeah, Joe and Victor confirmed that point. Yeah, it's the print to PDF.
yeah.
So I think how Joe phrased it, print as a PDF using Windows. I think that'll be the right Google search term for you,
Hmm.
Gareth. And so Gareth's question is, Gareth, it is a legal requirement.
Yeah.
Printing
If
printing
you
is you only need to print it if you are audited. But
oh
that correct, Shinpei? The
yeah.
only case where you need to print and give it to the government is if you're audited.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, these are good questions to ask.
Mm.
So yeah, the general premise is everything should be electronic, and it could be in the form of a CSV or PDF.
Yeah.
And I think images also Shinpei, an image would
Yeah.
be fine too, right? If they screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gareth, you can also screenshot.
So
I think
yeah,
you just
PDF, CSV, and photos.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you can click at least in PC, you just click print screen,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
control paste in like control paste in any editing software. Uh, for Daniel's question, so to clarify, so printing it instead of saving electronically would not be legal.
Printed
Or
instead of yeah.
I mean, you could do it, but it would be penalized, I
Yeah.
think. So yeah, I think that's Daniel kind of the underlying question that Daniel asked is a good one. But so Shinpei,
Yeah.
why is the government changing to this system?
Just follow up the global trend.
Gotcha. So
Yeah,
other
maybe
countries
yeah.
are make
I guess so. I mean, for now, so as I mentioned before, every documents need to print out and submit it when you have a tax audit. If you have data or PDF, you have to print it out on paper and submit it. It's really mendoxide, right? Yeah.
so yeah. All right. So Daniel's question, if they don't save it electronically, they can face these penalties, right?
Yeah, but there's no penalty on if you don't falsify the data.
Oh no, sorry, not
Yeah.
falsify. If you don't have the electronic data.
Yeah.
So I think Daniel, you're welcome to screenshot this with a print screen, but
Hmm.
so to answer your question, for your corporation, because I know you
Hmm.
do work for a corporation,
Oh.
You can't offset your profits and deficit for the previous 10 years.
Yeah.
That would be the penalty for not having it
Uh,
electronic.
but that will penalty, but it won't happen that much.
Yeah,
I
it's only
mean,
if you get
yeah,
audited, right?
yeah.
It's only if you get audited.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle, yeah, she asked, what is an example of a CSV as a electric or Shippei, do
Uh,
people give invoices in CSV format?
CSV format, electronic receipt document. And it is okay with transaction histories or
Yeah, I think
yeah,
like maybe like
transaction yeah.
Stripe might give you a transaction
Thank you.
history, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the one I've experienced personally as a
Mm,
business owner is
mm,
Michelle, like I would export my CS or I charge my clients through Stripe
mm,
for or some of my clients through Stripe, and usually I download it as a CSV from them in terms of
mm,
the wire or the portion I have to pay for Stripe for doing the
mm.
deduction. Daniel, Michelle, if you could give okay, thanks, or just confirmation, kind of like how Garrett did, that would be awesome. If not, you can ask the follow-up question as well. Shinpei, her question is so like the Stripe case is not uh so Shinpei for the Stripe case.
Yeah.
So Michelle's question is so you can check the chat as well. I think it might be easier.
Okay.
So
Uh,
my answer, I think my opinion, I want to confirm it, Shinpei, is
yeah.
so the Stripe one, it's not an invoice, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a receipt in a way because
Receipt or
I they've already taken the money from me.
transaction amount
Yeah,
or commission fee or transaction date,
that would
client's
also
name. Yeah.
count as well, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Michelle, did that make sense? Or I can summarize it. It's a transaction data would also count as it doesn't have to be let's say an invoice per se, but electronic data of the payment or the amount deducted can serve as evidence. There's another question from Joe Shinpei.
Joe-san.
Hmm.
CSV file can be saved as PDF file too. It means you output PDF file, CSV file
Uh,
to
I
PDF.
think so, Joe. I think actually today's topic it's not about invoice. It's just electronic retention. But yeah, never mind. I get your question. So Shinpei, his question is the new electronic retention tax rule.
Mm.
His question is this only invoices or just what types of data does this apply to?
Invoices, receipts, credit card statement, bank statement, and only related to.
I think we can type that in the chat. Sorry, can you say that again? Like credit card receipts,
Yeah,
bank
receipt,
statements,
bank statements, credit card transactions.
credit card transactions,
Sorry, invoices, receipts, bank statement, credit card statements.
bank statements. Cool. Was there any I missed, Shinpei?
And sorry, I'll check it then. Credit card receipt, credit card transaction, bank statement, invoices.
Invoices and basically any record of transactions. Cool. And Jeff, a good question. We'll jump into that one. I think that's in the next section. So we'll cover. Yeah, Joe and Michelle, thanks for we didn't add that to the slide, so thanks for asking that question. Okay, we're going to move on.
Okay.
Just a quick plug for myself, but on the Scaling Your Company website, I've created how to create a business plan. So, we're going to 2024, and, I pretty much got my 2024 business plan planned out already. So I created a format on how I do it, how to set a financial target, how to break down your plan into quarters, months, and in my case, the company that I've co-founded before, we had about 10 different departments, and it was my job to make sure the 10 departments move together as a team in one or several directions. And this is part of the business plan format that I use to keep everyone in alignment. So I'll say anyone who, let's say, has never made a business plan, or they would like to make a better business plan, my course is really cheap and affordable. And hey, Ken, you can put a link into the chat. And we'll address some of the other questions in a bit. But hey, Ken, you can put a link to the business plan course. Thank you for that. So Shinpei, let's move on to, and everyone, I think we're pretty good for time, so we'll definitely have a chance to answer your question.
Yeah.
And so, so Shinpei, what should I do to prepare?
Okay, let's go on to the next topics. Number 3, what should I do to prepare? In this session, I'm going to talk about preparatory actions. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 categories, and this is for everyone who is doing business, both sole proprietors and corporations. Okay, let's check one by one. Number 1, electronic ledger. And in this case, you don't need to prepare anything. In fact, you could keep it electronically, but at the time of the tax audit, you had to print it out and submit it. And from next January, you can choose whether you keep documents or on paper or PDF. And the next is physical documents. In this case, you will need to scan and title and keep the files. And to keep electronically, files must be titled with the following 3 items. The 3 items are transaction date and transaction partner, the opposite, it means, and amount. Date, partner, and amount. So once you have titled the document and keep in the system that cannot be tampered with, you may discard the paper document. And of course, you can still keep them as paper as before. And the last one is number 3, electronic transactions. Electronic transactions are kept in electronic form. So to handle this, it is a good idea to put in a system and we will discuss this in the next section. And okay, so I'm going to talk about tools and programs for compliance. Okay. A software solutions for electronic record keeping. So far, I've talked about an overviews and actions, but for the systems, I recommend something like Bakuraku, or most cloud software is supported. And there are tools like Money Forward, Free, and Yayoi, or of course, Google Drives. And maybe, does anyone use Xero or QuickBooks? You might concern about whether you meet the requirements if you are using foreign software, but Zoho said they are in the process of responding. But Xero and QuickBooks don't have a clear answer, but I don't think there's a problem right now. And so it is good for using Free, Money Forward, or I recommend you and Bakuraku. You can use Free, and it meets everything of requirements. Okay. Could I put the link on chat? Bakuraku.
Go for it.
Sorry, I'm afraid it has only Japanese version, but it's very useful for. If you like, please check the link. That's now. Okay, so what I want to say is that if they come electronically, please save them as they are, and printing and saving these is not allowed. And it is okay to save the data you receive in PDF or other format as is, just because PCs can track the history. So, and also, I want to mention in case of Amazon transactions, maybe I think you use Amazon in usual. So, in Amazon transactions, it falls under number 3 transactions, electronic transactions, and you can download the receipts from your account, But do I have to download all the transactions? There are so many. It's a pain, but with Amazon Business, you can download your transaction history in CSV files. So it might be a little bit expensive, but I recommend you to use a Amazon Business account. So in this way, you only need to download it once when you settle your accounts. Okay. And this is a system for new electronic rules. So, okay, let's go on to the guidance from the National Tax Agency. As the new rules begin, the NTA, National Tax Agency, has published answers to frequently asked questions. It's like FAQ. But there are 68 Q1 days from them. I can't explain everything, so I will pick up the important ones, and I'd like to introduce them here. And yeah, they're too forward though. Okay, key question and answers explained. I'll pick up 5 questions, so I'll introduce here. Question number 1, we are reimbursing purchases and expenses in the following manner. Is it necessary to save the output documents and so on as long as the data is saved? 1, we receive invoices, receipts, and other data, PDF files, and so on by email. 2, downloaded invoices, receipts, and so on from an internet website. Number 3, use of credit card statement data, payment data by transportation system IC cards. It's like Suica or Pasmo, something like that. And payment data by smartphone applications and so on. The answer is these transactions fall under number 3, electronic transactions. So it is necessary to keep them electronically. So you can keep them electronically if you don't print it out. So as I mentioned earlier, if they come electronically, so just save them as they are. Printing and saving these is not allowed. And question number 2, do transfers using internet banking constitute electronic transactions? If so, what data should be stored? What data should be kept? And they said, transfers via internet banking are considered number 3, electronic transactions. So if the data is downloaded or PDF file is created with a print function, the data or screen should be saved. Okay, this is a number 2 question, and let's go on to that number 3 questions. Okay, there are 3 more questions, and number 3, when the same transaction information received in an electronic transaction is also received in writing, is it necessary to keep the electronic data as well, even if we have an agreement to treat the document as an original? Is it necessary to store the electronic data as well? Yeah, the answer is, they said, if the contents of the electronic data and the documents are the same, you can keep the document on paper. So you can choose which one to keep. And number 4 question is, the other party, your business partners or something like that, to the transaction sent me an email with the PDF. I use a standard PC and have a printer, but I don't use any special invoice storage software. How do I save the invoices? They say, for example, if you save your invoices in the following way, you meet the requirements. 1, the contents of the invoice data, PDF, something like that, are indicated in the file name with regularity. And 2, store and save in any folder such as counterparty of transaction or each month, something like that. And the last question is, I'm not ready to comply with electronic data storage of transaction information for electronic transaction. What should we do? They said, please make the necessary preparation. But let me add something. There are no immediate penalties for not responding to this rule change. But it is at the time of the tax audit that it becomes an issue. So we cannot predict when this will come, but it is okay to prepare by then. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think conclusion.
Okay. These are 5 questions from National Tax Agent, and I have finished explaining the whole process so far. So let's wrap up today's briefly.
Cool. And we'll cover a couple questions.
Okay.
I'll go to everyone's one. First, I'll go to Joe's one because I think it's a funny one, but it's so Shinpei. So many companies are, at least in my company, the Somu department, the general affairs department, when they do our accounting, they'll have a piece of paper and they'll stick maybe like 5 or 6 receipts on that paper.
I see. Okay.
So Joe's question is, can you do the same thing, but can you just scan it or take a picture of it?
Yeah.
Would that be okay to have multiple receipts on one piece of paper and just take a picture of that paper?
Okay. Let me check a credit card. And
sorry, what are you checking?
Sorry, and I'm checking the chat.
I just asked Joe's question. I tried to simplify it.
Okay, Joe's.
So his question is, can you take a picture or scan a piece of paper with multiple receipts on it?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be one by one.
Yeah. So,
but what if the dates are different?
Different? So you mean 2 or 3 receipts on one paper? Yeah.
On one paper.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I thought the dates have to be. I think that was my question too. Like Joe's second question. I thought we had to name it a certain way. What is that? A date, partner, transaction amount.
Yeah.
So if we have multiple receipts on one paper.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. And if you keep electronical way for physical documents, and how to say that, and if you want to discard paper documents, you need to title these. But if you have PDF and paper documents either.
彼の質問がちょっと異なってます。
Oh, sorry.
お聞きしたいことが、例えば私の会社の総務部が1枚のシートに6枚のレシートを貼ってて、でも今回そういう今共有してる画面ですが、そういう名前をつけるときに Date Trade Partner Transaction Amount。
Yeah.
で、彼の質問が、 そのルールが各ファイルにその名前をつけるルールがありますので、その1枚でその6、5枚のリシートとかはできますか？
ああ、
question.
それで、紙は捨てたいみたいな。So, you want to
それより、
discard?
できるかどうか。自分がやるかどうかより、できるかどうか。多分気になってるだけ。
I see, I see. But I'm afraid in this case, you need to file each receipts.
separately.
Yeah, separate, yeah.
Yeah, so Joe, yes, each receipt needs to be a separate
Yeah.
file. And hey, Ken, please make a note of this point when we do our FAQ article on this topic. Please add that as a point to clarify. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Shinpei. You answered Joe's question.
Sorry, thank you.
It's not a problem. The next question I'll go with is, I think is, wait. So Kathy's question is, my corporate credit card statements are available online. I've never downloaded them, but I think, yeah, so Kathy, this rule starts from next month, I believe. So Shinpei, since the rule starts from next month, she has to track it from next month.
Yeah. But you don't need to download them. So credit card statements are, yeah, as you said, available online.
Okay, I get Kathy's question. It's all right, Kathy, if you could do it through other ways, like through the receipts, you'll just do it through the receipts or invoices or online invoices. I think that's her question. Or Kathy, maybe you could explain what area you're confused on, and we'll jump to Michelle's question, and we can go back to Kathy afterwards. What if my credit card charge monthly plan? So I think that's actually Kathy's connect is
similar one?
related.
Yeah. Yeah. Credit card statements are available online. So, and you can download in PDF anytime, but your question is, do I have to do this? My answer is you don't need to do this.
So the credit card statement is enough.
Yeah.
Cool. So for Michelle's question, Shinpei said the credit card statement would be enough.
Yeah.
Michelle, I don't get your second question, but we're the one, but do we also need to do that? Wasn't. Oh wait, sorry, mine. Wait. Michelle, if you could maybe combine, or I think you wrote multiple questions remaining. If you could maybe delete one and then maybe phrase it as a combined question, that would be easier for us to follow. For Kathy's point, let's check it. I've also. That's good. So I think she's a Kojin Jiyonushi Shinpei.
Oh yeah.
Does she have to, Kathy? Does she have to download the receipts for transactions such as phone bills, which are deducted from bank account?
I see.
So, like for example, Shinpei, in my case, I use money forward that's connected to my bank account.
Yeah. And phone bills or utilities or something like that, money forward.
So Shinpei, in my case, I don't need to do it because it's automatically updated in
Yeah.
Money Forward because
Yeah.
it's connected to my bank
Yeah.
account.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say that maybe Kathy or another person is not connected to Money Forward, or do they
Oh,
have to, what should they do with the receipts for
should I
things like
start
phone bills?
Should I start downloading it? No, it's connected with bank accounts. So,
But I think she
uh,
might be let's say if they're Kojin Jigyoshi.
mm,
For Hojin, I think, yeah. But how about Kojin?
such as phone bills are deducted from my bank account.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she's incorporated. So yeah, I think Kathy is. So
Mm.
hey, or sorry, you can answer 2 questions.
Okay.
So Shinpei,
Uh,
and for anyone else, please hold on the questions. I think it's getting a little bit tough to follow now. So Shinpei. So Kathy's case is she is incorporated.
yeah.
And utilities are deducted from her bank account.
Yeah.
Does she need to download the receipts?
Download. Yeah. No. So phone bills are available online, I guess. And
Uh,
yeah, I mean, phone bills or money for bills or bank account statement
I
or
think
credit card
Shippei.
statement are available online. Yeah.
So Shippei, I think the area they probably, or I guess I don't understand as well, is a good point for mentioning that. I think what they're trying to understand is, do they have to store everything themselves, or is it just being online, digital fine?
Ah, and the later one. And I mean,
Gosh, as long
yeah,
as it's online, they're
you
in
don't,
compliance.
yeah, you don't have to download your phone bills, utility bills, money for bills, banks, bank account statement. You don't have to do this.
But Kathy,
But
like kind of to Garrett's point, if it's in some cases, if it stops being online, then you're not in compliance. It doesn't have to be on your Google Drive. Particularly, it just has to be online. But to like Garrett's point, some places don't store it long term. Cool. Kathy, does that answer your question? Cool. Thanks for asking that. Hey, can I think Brian Simmons asked the question too, if you could get his. Then Shinpei, I'll let you answer it, but maybe Garrett's question.
okay. Let me check. This one, just to confirm. Mm-hmm. File format. Uh, yeah, that's almost enough. But as you said, and it depends on what kind of software do you use. But if you use an cloud system, it is correct.
Cool. And we'll answer the
Uh,
last 3 questions. I want to make sure
okay.
that Shinpei gets a chance to promote his service. So Shinpei, could you explain your service? And we will get to
Ah,
the remaining 3 questions.
okay. Sorry, just a moment, please. I'm preparing.
And
And
thank you for being patient. But in return for Shinpei has spent a lot of time preparing for this. So want to make sure he has a chance to promote himself before people start leaving.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to introduce our company at this time. We are Matchpoint Tax Accounting Office, and we were founded in 2019 with 7 members, and we have now 88 members now, and also we have 4 representatives, and I'm one of them. Our goal is to expand further and become the #1 tax accounting firm in Japan in 5 years, and our clients are nationwide, and we also have foreign companies that have expanded into Japan, as well as Japanese companies that have expanded into foreign countries. And our strength is that we do not have a single person in charge, but rather a team of people with different roles. In many cases, accounting firms assign a single person to be in charge of your company, but we have a team of specialists to support your business. And also, we specialize not only taxation, but also in streamlining cash management and accounting operation. In particular, we are one of the best in Japan in implementing money forward. And also, I have over 10 years experience working with thousands of businesses just like yours. And also, we can handle English, and we have certified public accountants and corporate tax and sales tax expert and upfront pricings. Okay. So if you have any further question, just email me later. Thank you so much.
Yes, and Shinpei is a
Yeah.
certified public accountant.
Yeah.
Let's say they can help with corporate and sales taxes. Also, the pricing is upfront, no surprises. And I think to give a little bit more,
Yeah.
Shinpei, could you explain your price, please?
Yeah. We can offer a monthly fee. We provide bookkeeping services, year-end adjustment, and tax returns, tax consultation about your services. So, and we can offer 33,000 yen monthly. And we do not charge extra fees, while most accounting firms charge you extra charge, such as tax returns fee, year adjustment fee, something like that. What we do not charge extra, only monthly fee.
How much do other accounting firms charge for the
Tax returns,
year end? Yeah,
maybe 2,000 yen, 20 man, or 300. Yeah.
Just some 200,000, 300,000 yen.
Yeah. And also, if you sign up, you get 1 month free using scaling your company. So if you email us for I saw your video, I saw your webinar from scaling your company, we can offer 1 month free.
Cool. And Terry asks, is there a minimum length of contract?
Oh, okay, I'll check it. Is there minimum length? Minimum means so monthly. And yeah, we also have an hourly rate. So if you have a specific issue that you need help with, or if you need one-time consultations, we can offer 12,000 yen per hour. And of course, we can offer the first consultation is free. So please feel free to contact us at any time. And I got another question.
For Terry's question, it's so in your case, you offer the end of year taxes for free.
End of your tax.
Yeah, the end of year or not the let's say the end of year. He wants to know what's the minimum length of contract. Like, is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 1 month?
Basically, it's an yearly contract, but cancellation is free at any time. So
Gotcha.
you
So
can
it's a
use that for
monthly contract.
yeah. So a minimum length is a monthly, or of course hourly. And I got another question. Does Matchpoint handle only corporate data?
Do you also do payroll and maybe like Shakai Hoken?
Ah, social insurance are not our specialty, but we have connection to Sharoshi, who can handle in English.
Would that be a separate contract or with one contract with you?
I'm afraid social insurance is separate contract, so we can introduce Sharoshi to you, but it doesn't include.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's like, and I'll just give a quick introduction to in addition to providing advisory to 28 foreign entrepreneurs in Japan currently, helping them scale their business, I also have a side business with a team, and we do marketing. So we can do Google Maps. We can do website creation in Japanese and English. We created Shinpei's website in English. We've created multiple websites in Japanese that look really good and are SEO optimized. And also, we don't charge monthly management fees for your website. I think we charge around 35 to 400,000 yen. It's your website, you host it, you own it. You don't have to pay us monthly after that. And I think it's really good quality. Also, we have a successful podcast. If you want to create a podcast, we can create one for you. For SEO, we can do English. And I would say if you're doing anything super competitive, like if you're trying to go for like, you're competing with major corporations like Nike and probably bigger corporations, you might need someone like Jeff Crawford in the chat. He's the SEO master, and we are doing a podcast together. But we can do a more like local business SEO or not super competitive. You need the big guns. Cool. And that's a bit for my services. But I highly recommend our website creation. Let's say we focus a lot on conversion rate optimization based on my experience of running my own company and spending hundreds of hours watching how people use websites. But yes, for your questions. So could you, so at 10:49, Shinpei, Brian has a question.
10:49, okay. 10:49. Brian-san. Brian-san, 10:49. Ah, is this employee who purchases something online?
So I think I understand Brian's question. It's so his employee purchases something online.
Yeah.
Can the employee submit? Wait, something to the own current system. Can they send maybe a picture of the receipt?
I see. Need to print the receipt. As long as we store it online, is that fine? Yes, it's fine.
So, yeah, so Brian, they could just, take a picture and submit it to you, and you could store it online. Brian, in your case, do they physically, or is that like a company rule where they need to print the receipt? Okay, Brian's not. We'll move on to the next question, or Brian can take some time to answer. Oh, sorry. So there is the rule. Okay, thanks for confirming that, Brian. It's
and
yeah, I think there just needs to be a digital record of all purchases. There needs to be a digital record of all purchases. And if you don't have a digital record, that is okay. I think the key, yeah, I think from your end, it's best to just have that information. I think the key point is if you are ever audited, all right, yeah, we don't actually, Shinpei, that's a good question. I think that's
Mm.
probably where there's some confusion. Like, how does the government know that you actually don't have a digital version?
Actually, actually, nothing's gonna happen, to be honest.
So,
Yeah.
I think that's where the confusion, I think that's probably one
Uh,
reason why everyone is
yeah.
confused.
Sorry for the confusion. Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
maybe the advice would just be or it's good to just have an online copy.
Yeah.
And then next, could you go to Kotoyo's question? All right, sorry, Brian, it's just in general good to have it online, but let's say it's likely it's not going to be enforced and there's no, let's say, or we don't know how they're going to actually track all of this.
Yeah.
But since it's legal advice, you must do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So as an accountant, I have to tell you this way, but there's no major penalty and nothing's gonna happen. Yeah.
And Shinpei,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
copied Kotoyo's question.
Okay, Koto-san.
Yeah, I just posted it, reposted
Koto-san.
it.
1050? Commute. I've been taking screenshots so you could pass more as, but would that still work from? Pasmas. Yeah, that works.
Cool. Kotoyo, that still works.
Yeah.
And I have a non invoice question, but I think it's okay. This one's from Loic.
Okay, Loic-san.
So I'll give you time to read his question. But Loic, so I am a sole proprietor, sole employee. I think Shinpei has advised me on this, but I do deduct around, I think, 20% of my rent costs. I have an office. I have an office that takes up around 20% of my apartment. And therefore I deduct 20% of my rent. I think, Shinpei, how much do we deduct for my electricity, roughly? Electricity and water.
And it depends, but maybe up to 40 or 50%.
For both, or
For both, yeah.
and I think telephone, I think it's 50%. My smartphone fees
Yeah.
my smartphone is 50%, water and electricity is 40%,
Yeah.
and rent is 20% because my office takes
Yeah.
up about 20%.
Yeah, for smartphone, and some people are using only in business or not using for private or something. Yeah. Okay, and sorry, self-employed.
Yes, thank you very much. I understood. Yeah, sorry about that. I understood the reply. It's good to have the yes. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
Cool.
Yeah. I got another question. You don't get receipt for rent paid. And all you have to do is just keep the contract. So am I making sense? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a funny question, but does the contract, do you need a digital copy of the contract? Good question, Garrett.
Yeah.
Do you need a digital copy of the contract, Shinpei?
No. So just keep the documents. Maybe real estate company gave you, and when you rent.
Yeah, this system's pretty confusing, but that's good questions though. Okay, so I think
Yeah, Joe-san, that's correct.
Yes, yeah, Shinpei, I think if you're paying the rent, you can just take a shot of your bank statement.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And then upload it online.
Mm.
Cool. Oh, good questions.
Yeah.
So I think we've pretty much, it was a 90 minutes, but I think we got pretty much everything covered. Does anyone else have any things to confirm?
Have I answered everything?
Cool. I think we are. Oh yeah, Shinpei's email. Hey King, could you put
okay. I'll put that in. Sorry. And
Gareth, you would store them on Google Drive.
can you see that? This is my email address. So if you're not sure, or if you have personal questions, please feel free to contact us. Okay, and
we'll let Garrett's question be the last one.
Sorry, still confusing. How to store pictures or recipes.
So I mentioned he could store it on Google Drive, and his follow-up question is, can I store them on my computer?
And just store them. Yeah. And just store them on my computer. Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully your computer doesn't crash or nothing bad happens to your computer. Cool. But yes, thanks for the questions, everyone. So I think there's a lot of good questions. And I think I'm very happy with how things turned out. But have a nice day, everyone. And let's give Shinpei a big thank you. Shinpei, how much time do you spend preparing for this? How much time did you spend preparing?
Maybe 15 hours or so. But I'm happy to help you today.
Cool. Thank you so much, Shinpei.
Thank you so much for your attention.
And he can, and we can stop. And thank you so much, everyone.